Good morning. In this video, we'll be talking about the main features of the Russian business culture. What should be considered while dealing with the today's business culture in Russia? First of all, it's a huge infrastructural gap between big and small cities. For example, a lot of money is being invested in the social and economic development of the capital cities like Moscow, St. Petersburg, Ekaterinburg, Novosibirsk. Whereas smaller settlements like Novouralsk, San-Donato, Verkhny Ufaley, Verkhnya Pushma, and Asbest are left behind. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, many of the 800 or so small towns in the country, in the Russian Federation, have found themselves in the state of crisis. Across the country, cultural and historical landmarks are in terrible disrepair. Infrastructure is crumbling and social tensions are running high. What is happening at the moment is that young people from smaller cities start looking for a job in the bigger settlements, and they very often decide to move. For example, among my students, I know that there are so many students from the smaller settlements in the regional cities, and they want to move to Ekaterinburg because of the better working and living opportunities here. Those who are left in the small settlements are people who are retired, who are somehow involved in the local businesses, but they have almost no opportunity to be aware of what's going on in a bigger city. This fact has a tremendous impact on the general state of business culture and should be taken into consideration by everyone who is planning to be engaged in business with the Russians. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about some helpful tips how to deal with Russians. First of all, we've been talking a lot about people, general idea of what Russians are like. So, Russia has had a long history of a special totalitarian regime, which has resulted in a rather fatalistic approach to life. The desire to work individually under personal initiative was suppressed by the Tsarist regime and the communists. With the advent of perestroika, or reconstruction, the Soviet value system has been scrapped, but the pace of reform has been slow, and many are finding it is very difficult to adapt to the Western standards that are being introduced in the local markets. Older Russians are generally quite pessimistic, and they don't have much faith in better life in the future. Younger urban Russians have adopted a more Western outlook, as they are more goal-oriented, flexible, and they are more optimistic. Speaking about meetings and greetings in Russia, I know that many foreigners are suggested not to smile when coming to Russia, otherwise you'll be considered a crazy person. Well, of course, it depends. Yes, the average middle-aged Russian would not smile, or would not probably smile that often as the guy from the West or from the Western or Eastern Europe. And if people have serious expressions on their faces, this does not necessarily mean that they don't like you, they're not happy with the terms of the agreement. That's just a habit. People are not used to smile. I remember this from the kindergarten, from the pictures that were taken when I was in the kindergarten and also in middle school, elementary school, and high school. Now, looking at those photos, we rarely smile there. This is a very unique phenomenon. Now it's different. People are encouraged to smile, so some kind of transformation is going on. But of course, if you're doing business with a middle-aged Russian, you'll understand that it's just a habit. The person is not used to smiling. Now, what about handshake? A handshake is always appropriate among men, sometimes among men and women, sometimes among women. But it's not obligatory. Remove your gloves before shaking hands. Don't shake hands over threshold. Russian folk believe that this kind of action will just scare the luck away. So some of the Russian businessmen are very superstitious, and they would probably even knock on wood 3 times like this, not to scare the luck away. So just understand this as a natural habit. I remember while working on the EU project on joint river management, we were expecting a businessman from Britain to come. And before he came, we were communicating with him by email, and he mentioned that he was suggested by one of his former colleagues to learn more about Russian culture, especially Russian smile and the way Russians do business. And he was suggested to read a special book on Russian studies. And he worried a little bit, as he didn't know whether he would have enough time to do that. And this was his first visit to Russia. And amazingly, we managed to establish very good personal relationship with him. And even after he left, we continued exchanging emails. And he said that, you know what, yes, I started to read this guidebook on the Russian culture, but I think that the most important statement that should be included is that Russian people are very unique, and you don't have to expect too much from them, but you have to be natural. And this way, if you communicate this way with them, you'll be able to succeed in whatever you do. So I really consider this approach to be one of the best. Now, let's talk a little bit about the body language. It is usually easy to tell what kind of emotional state the Russians are, since in most cases they would be using body language very actively. Hugs, backslapping, kisses on the cheeks, and other expansive gestures are common among friends or acquaintances and between members of the same sex. Speaking about the distance, Russians normally stand close when talking. And it's okay if we are used to queuing up. We are used to standing in line. I remember this was a very funny experience of my own. I came back, I returned to my home country, to Russia, after my exchange year. I spent a year abroad in the US as an exchange student. And I went to the grocery store together with my father. And well, of course, I was introduced to some of the notions of the Western culture, and I knew that when standing in line, you have to keep certain distance. So I realized there was a babushka standing in front of me, and I just stepped behind, and I thought, okay, there would be like 40 centimeters or even more between us. And everybody started looking at me like, hey, girl, are you in line or not? And my dad approached me and said, hey, you're not in Florida anymore. Come on, this is a Russian line. And I realized that, yes, when in Rome, do as Romans do. Because, yes, I don't like to be touched. I don't like when other people are approaching me and don't keep the distance. But I'm here, I'm in the country where people do not agree with this rule, probably. Although at the moment I can say that sometimes when I go to the store, people are trying to keep the distance. So it's, again, it will take some time. It's a very gradual transformation. Now, I also like minding the gestures and body language. I know that some people advise that if you don't know the gestures of the country you are planning to visit, don't use your hands, don't use your fingers, because something that you might consider to be appropriate would probably have an unpredictable reaction, would cause an unpredictable reaction of the audience. So, well, maybe yes, maybe not. I wouldn't say that Russians, they are not aware of some international gestures and language, body language. I think they all know this American OK sign, and I know that if you're going to Holland or to Brazil, you should be aware. You should really know whom you're talking to. But generally, yes, if probably the suggestion, the best thing to do would be, yes, if you're not sure whether you are using the right kind of gesture, yeah, try to avoid it. What else I would like to say is that it's very important to learn a language. I know that many foreigners try to speak, or at least try to learn a couple of Russian words, and it's very nice. When we go together to have a joint business lunch and they continue our conversation, we continue talking in English, but they will say thank you in Russian, they will say spasibo, or they will thank you, please, or they will try to read something in the menu in Russian. This always have a very positive impression on the audience. So yes, if you have an opportunity to learn a few words in the language of the country you're planning to visit, yeah, that would be great. And if you speak some Russian, people in our country will appreciate this. Thank you for your attention.